Welcome to Business Analysis Techniques. This is your online instructor, Diana Black, and we're going into week 3. So in week 3, we are going to read in our textbook chapter 4, and we also have the chapter 4 PowerPoint. And notice that for the assignment this week, we have 2 files. So you'll need to open and download both of those files, and we'll talk about those. What we're going to learn about this week is regression analysis. And with regression analysis, and I'm looking for this file, with regression analysis, what we will be presented with is some information about various data points. So here's a sheet, here it is. And so in this example here, this part of the assignment, we're looking at hospital admissions. And what this is telling us is that when there were 77,000 admissions, there was 57,000 in total expenses. And when there was 160,000 admissions, there was 127 million in expenses. So we've collected some data over time here to find out when there's a certain number of admissions, what were the expenses at that time. And so what we can do with this is we can use this information and as a regression analysis tool, and we can predict then what if we have 300,000 admissions, then how much would expenses be? Or what if we had 20,000 admissions, what would expenses be? So we can use this regression analysis as a tool so that we can predict how one variable admissions affects a different one, which is expenses. How do admissions exactly relate to expenses using the information that we've already have? So what you could do is you could plot all of this on a graph, and across the one axis you'll have admissions, and across another axis you'll have expenses, and then you can see where they intersect and you can draw the line, and then that will allow you to estimate what expenses will be at levels of admissions that we don't have on the chart because they'll all be on that line. That'll be very time consuming. What we can do instead, and what we're going to do in this class, is we're going to use Excel to calculate that regression data for us, and it'll give us a formula that tells us, an equation that tells us exactly how expenses is related to admissions. That's what the regression analysis tool does. And so in week 1, I had you to download the analysis tool pack, and you'll need that for this assignment. And so we did a practice problem using the regression tool in week 1. So in this assignment, we're going to go back and use that tool. And we've got this data tab, and then you go over to data analysis, and that's where you're going to find the regression. And so we have to scroll down. If you don't see it there, it's in alphabetical order. Here's where you'll see the regression. And you'll click OK, and then your Y input range, we'll put our Y information, which in this case is expenses. Then we put in our X input range. And in the other problem, there'll be more than one X, and so you'll just add all of that. If there was 2 columns of information that is X, you would put that there. But you've got other videos and instructions on this as well, so I'm just walking you through the exact homework assignment so that you can see where to find it. So this is the regression tool. And so once you click OK and you have this data in the regression, Excel is going to calculate and present you with a separate page of information. And you saw that in week 1 where you were presented with that page of additional information that Excel created. So now what we're going to do is take that extra information and get some meaning out of it. So you're going to submit 2 files. You're going to submit that regression data file that Excel is going to create, and then you're also going to submit this Word document. When you get to this Word document, you'll see that there's 2 problems here. This first one relates to the first set of data. This problem 2 relates to that second set of data. So in that data that Excel spits out, you're going to find the equation that relates total expenses to the number of admissions. So you're going to round each value in the equation to 3 decimal places. So when you complete that regression in Excel, you're going to have an actual formula that you'll be able to create that's going to tell you how X relates to Y. And so you're going to have a formula, and that's what I'm looking for here is the actual formula. So I'm talking about A plus B y, something like that. I'm not going to type the formula, but I want you to get the idea that you're going to type an actual formula for this answer. And so then you're going to predict in part B the total number of expenses of a hospital with 80,000 admissions. So in the formula that you created here, you're going to actually plug in 80,000 admissions for X. And then you'll be able to use the formula to determine at X number of admissions, what is Y? Y is the expenses. So you're going to create a formula here for A. And then in part B, you're going to use that formula using X as 80,000, and you'll be able to calculate what is Y, and which Y is the expenses. In that data, you're also going to find the SST, SSE, SSR, and MSE. When you read the chapter this week, make sure you do the chapter reading and go over the PowerPoints, because it's going to explain what each of these is and what that information is used for. But here you're going to just go into the data and find each of these and fill them in. Then you're going to find the coefficient of a determination. That's also going to be in the data. Make sure you do the reading this week. And then also the significance of F you're going to find. Then similarly, when you get to the second problem, you're going to go through and do the data analysis, regression analysis again. Let me go back there. And here's the other problem. And see here, this problem, you've got two columns of X information. So you're going to put this into your Y field in the regression analysis, this into your X field. You're going to get that new separate page of data. Then you'll come to the assignment here and fill in the information for problem 2. So on problem 2A, you're going to write in what your equation is. It's going to be Y equals to something X1 and X2. And so that equation will tell you how to get sales price from square footage and age. And so then again in part B, you're going to use that equation that you created in part A to find the estimated sales price of a home with a certain amount of square footage is X1, and a certain age is X2. You're going to find the coefficient of determination that is going to be in that data and the significance of F. And then you're going to find the p-value. So again, all of this is in the reading, in the PowerPoint, and also it's going to be buried in that data that Excel is going to spit out for you when it does the regression analysis. So if you have any other questions about this, make sure you send me an email, or we can talk about it in discussion as well. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what I'm looking for, particularly on part A of each problem. A lot of times students get that mixed up because they aren't sure what you're looking for. I am actually looking for a formula on the part A. Then in part B, I'm looking for an actual solution using that formula that you entered in part A. And those are the two problems that you have assigned this week. You also are going to have a class discussion, so make sure you participate in that by Wednesday. In addition to this video, there's a couple of additional examples in the additional resources area down here. So make sure you look at those examples as well, because those will walk you through a couple more different problems using the regression analysis tool. So if you have any questions, I look forward to hearing from you, and have a great week 3.